Hello, thank you so much for stopping by to watch today's video. If you are new here, welcome to my channel, and I hope you will consider subscribing. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, and thank you so much for your continued support. Today, I have probably what's going to be a lengthy video, so you all can obviously drop off when you want. I'm going to get to the good stuff first. But I'm going to be doing a reveal/review of a Dream Goyard bag. I'm going to be giving some tips for shopping at Goyard in Paris, including a couple of mistakes that I made, that hopefully sharing my story will help you avoid those mistakes. And I'm also going to talk a little bit of Paris musings, the bags I saw, Paris, mostly around handbags. So I hope you all enjoy this video. I would love, as always, to hear your comments below. But let's get to the good stuff right off the bat. So those of you that want to drop off, you can. I finally got it. I finally got my Goyard Dream bag. Now, when I was going to Paris, just a little bit of a story here. When I booked my trip to Paris, I decided right then and there, although I was going to go into other boutiques, Goyard was the number one. I was definitely going to get this bag if they had it. And if they didn't, I would go from there. But this was the number one bag. So let me pull it out of its dust bag. I've got it all, oops, gave you a little glimpse there. I've got it packed up from my flight home as well, so you'll get an idea of what fits in it, and I'll empty it out, and then I'll show you the beautiful inside as well. But you saw it, it's orange. I got myself the Belvadier MM bag. So one thing I like to do is I like to see what brought about the name. And so the Belvedere is named after the birthplace of the Goyard family. Now, Belvedere is usually, it's a building that has a beautiful view. So that's what this bag is named after. This is the MM size. So I had originally intended to get the PM size. So the PM is smaller. I ended up getting the MM, and I'm glad I did. I always find that when I see bags online or in other reviews, for some reason they all always look bigger to me than they're gonna look in person. So I thought the MM was gonna be too big. It turned out that for me, the PM looked too small, and the MM is the perfect size. So as you can see, I got it in the beautiful orange color. It does have that Goyardine canvas as well as leather on the sides. For those of you that know, you know. For those of you who don't know, you don't know. Goyard is it's one of the more difficult brands to get because you can only get them in a boutique. And they don't do influencers, they don't do big marketing campaigns and advertising, they just rely on word of mouth. You cannot order from their website. Their website doesn't even have their pricing. So you want a new Goyard, you have to go into a boutique, and there are very few of them in the US. I think New York, Chicago, Beverly Hills, San Francisco. I never went in there in San Francisco because the lines were always long, and I was so focused on Louis Vuitton. But it's hard to get. So if you want it new, you have to get it in a boutique. If you don't have a boutique near you, your best bet is buying it pre-loved. But it's got this beautiful Goyardine canvas, as I said, and the chevron print here forms a Y for the central letter of the Goyard name. So I didn't know that, and I was reading all about this. Up here you can see in 3 places on the front and 3 places on the back. It does have the Goyard branding. You can see where it says E Goyard there in white, and then right there it says 233 RS for Rue Saint, and then over on the other side it says Honoré. So their main flagship store is at 233 Rue Saint Honoré in Paris, or Saint Honoré. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce these things. And then underneath it has Paris and Paris. forming this Y here. So I love the Goyard print. I think it's beautiful. This bag, and most of their bags, come in many different colors. Blue, dark blue, yellow, orange, white, gray, black. I'm missing several. They're green. There are many, many colors, which I love. That's one thing I wish Louis Vuitton would do. I wish they would do their canvas in different colors. So I'm a little bit obsessed with Goyard because of that, but this is just a beautiful bag. And then in the front there is palladium coated hardware that says Goyard Paris. And then you have the leather strap closure. As I said, each side is leather. The bottom is leather as well. And you can see the shoulder strap comes all the way around and under the bag, which I think is pretty cool. And then there is the back, and it does have a nice slip pocket here. So I absolutely fell in love with this bag. I got it, and I used it the whole week in Paris, the whole entire week, and I absolutely loved it. It was a great everyday bag, and it proved to be a great travel bag as well. This was my carry-on on the flight home. I did have my Louis Vuitton carry-all that I put up above, but had I had this bag before I went to Paris, this is the only bag I would have brought. It's the only bag I would have taken on the plane. Everything I needed for my flight home fit in here, and that's what I'm going to show you because it's still packed up. I just got home last night. It also has an adjustable shoulder strap, again with the palladium coated hardware there, and the strap keeper, which is just too loose. A lot of times I just find these are too loose. It does have 2, 4, 6, 7 adjustable holes there. And what I love about the strap going under the bag is you can just pull it. So you can have the buckle wherever you want. See, it's way up here now. I don't like it touching my body at all, so I just pulled it through, and now the buckle is on the far side away from my body. So I do think that is a cool feature there. You can then take off the strap and put it inside when you store it. It does have a secure closure here, so you can see this strap goes through that palladium bracket there. It can be a bit of a challenge when it's empty to get it to, it's going to be hard to do reverse, but you have to bend it way up and then push it through, and see it didn't go through on the bottom. But you can, if you wanted to, just leave it like that. It's not as secure as if you fed it all the way through. It is hard doing it while I'm filming this. I had no trouble doing this when I was carrying it over my shoulder. I reach in my bag every 5 minutes for lip balm because I'm addicted. And it was super easy to do it up while I was on the go. So beautiful, beautiful color. I'm absolutely obsessed with this. It is just a gorgeous bag. Now let me show you what I carried inside. So you'll see this flap is all leather lined here, and here is everything I had for my flight. So I'm going to try to do this in the easiest way possible. Here is my 11-inch iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard. That was a big selling point for me on the MM size, because I do not have an everyday bag that is big enough to fit my iPad in it, which that's why I always have to carry a bigger bag when I fly, because one thing, I need to put my iPad in it, and the second, I need to bring a smaller bag. With this, I can put my iPad in it, and I don't need to bring a smaller bag because it's big enough for the iPad, yet it's small enough for every day. I also, in the back pocket here, I just have my boarding card. I'm kind of old school that way. I think it's just easier to have a piece of paper boarding card than it is to open your phone and swipe and do all that crap. Although sometimes I do use mobile boarding passes, but it fit nicely in here. And then when I got off the plane, I had my passport in there to go through. Passport control made it really easy. It's not a super loose pocket, but it's not super tight either. So I felt secure with my phone being in there when I was walking around Paris until my mom got pickpocketed. Then I got paranoid and put it inside. But I felt secure with my passport in there. I didn't think it was gonna fall out. I also have my passport in here with cards and cash and stuff. So that fit really easily in there. Nicotine lozenges, because I quit smoking a million years ago, but I'm still addicted to nicotine. Then I did have reading glasses in there as well. And then you can see there's 2 pockets in the front. Here, this is the medium size of the Kirigami set. And in there, I just had a couple lip balms, my AirPods, and then these great little hand creams. I talked about them before. They are so great because they are so compact and you can just fit them in any bag. And then my hands get dry. I always have hand cream with me. And then in this pouch here, I just have my key holder. And then I also had a charging cable for my iPad and my iPhone so I could charge them on the flight. So that's it. That's all I needed for an 11.5-hour flight. It fit wonderfully in here. And you can see this beautiful yellow interior. I think it looks great with the orange. Now, as I said, this is leather here. This is some type of textile material, which is fine because I think it's probably easier to clean if you get it marked up. It also has a slip pocket here. I just have a couple Band-Aids and a paper towel in there. I always fold up a paper towel in case my nose starts running. I have allergies. I have something for an emergency purpose. And I had a couple Band-Aids because I sliced open my finger the first night there, and I just wanted to make sure I had some extra Band-Aids. But I love this yellow interior. It does have these slip pockets. Now they're pretty big and pretty loose. They're not tight slip pockets. So when I was walking around Paris one day, I loosely had a couple lip balms and the hand lotion in one of these. And, you know, getting on the metro or whatever, if the bag laid flat, they spilled out into the bag. So these pockets aren't tight and they're not going to be effective at holding smaller items unless it's in something bigger like this, which this will be what I always carry in this bag because it is so roomy. For every day, I was able to get an umbrella in here, a bottle of water. I had my wallet in here. I had reading glasses and sunglasses and that pochette sometimes, loose sometimes. So it really is a great everyday bag to keep all your essentials you need and then some, which was really nice. It was off and on rain for a few days in Paris, so I was really happy that I was able to put my umbrella here. It did not quite fit in my pochette Matisse, which was the bag I thought I was going to use. So I was really happy to have a bag that could hold all of that stuff as well as a bottle of water because it's so important to have water with you. And I just hate carrying things with my hands. I want to be hands-free. So there you have it. It's just beautiful. It's softening up. It's softening up already. It was pretty rigid when I bought it. So the canvas material is softening up. I'm expecting the shape to not look so completely structured. I hope it maintains its structure, but it's definitely softening up. The flap is not really because it's lined with leather, but the rest of the bag, the canvas, is softening up. So that is going to happen over time, and this might, you know, appear a little wrinkly maybe. I don't know. I've seen some on the pre-loved market that look wrinkly, but that is what it is. This is a beautiful bag, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I do already have some scratches on the hardware there. That's unavoidable. I see videos where people complain about hardware scratching. Well, metal scratches when it comes in contact with stuff, and your bag is just gonna come in contact with stuff. There's no way you're gonna prevent scratches unless you put those horrible stickers on there, which do research. They can damage the hardware and bind to the hardware, and it's awful. To me, it's not worth it. It's just part of using a bag and part of your story. So there you have it. I would love your thoughts below. This is my dream bag. I have wanted this for a couple years now. It's beautiful. So now I'm going to talk about tips for purchasing at Goyard and the experience that I had there. And I'm really going to botch the name of the place. I got it, but I will spell it out. So before I went and I decided, okay, I'm absolutely going to try to get a Goyard bag, I had two options. There's actually three now. I didn't know that ahead of time, but I had two options. The Rue Saint-Honoré store, which is the main Goyard store. They've been there over 100 years, I think, or yeah, a long, long, long time. So I always think it's fun to buy something at the main store, the store. But there's lines, and I knew this from San Francisco. Every time I walked by Goyard, there was a long line out front. So I did some research online, and I found out that the second boutique in the Printemps, it's Printtemps. So that's a mall in Paris. It's 3 buildings, and it is luxury. Everything is there. The only brand I did not see there is Hermes. So we went in 2 of them. There's one that's devoted to men, and so they have all the luxury brands in there as well, and but it's more focused on men. The one where I bought the Goyard at was really the boutique one. Like every brand had a boutique in there with men's and women's bags, and then there were little stands of other brands out there as well. I don't know what's in the third one. We didn't go in there. But when I was doing research, I ran across a blog that said you can avoid these long lines by going to the Printemps, or Printemps boutique. So fortunately, our Airbnb was a 5-minute walk, if that, to the Printemps. Which was really cool. I didn't plan that. I didn't book it because of that. I booked it before I found that out, but I was really happy when I saw that. And so I told my mom and nephew ahead of time. I said, I'm checking into the Airbnb. I'm going to Goyard, and if I get the bag, I'm coming back and changing out of it. So you all can come with me, or you can wait at the Airbnb for me. We checked into the Airbnb right at 2 o'clock. My mom was tired. She wanted to take a nap. So my nephew and I took a quick shower, and we went over to Goyard. So we got there probably, I want to say, around 3:30, and there was a line. It probably had about 15 people in it. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just get in the line and see if it moves. After 15 minutes, it didn't move at all. So we left, and we're walking around a bit, and we came by maybe 30 minutes later, and it hadn't moved yet at all either. So I was like, okay, forget it today. I will come back first thing in the morning. So ahead of time, I had looked on the Goyard website, and they said that store opened at 9:35, which I thought was like a really odd time to open, but okay. And then I also looked at it on Google Maps, you know, the little pin, and you hit it and it gives you the hours. It said 9:30 a.m. I'm like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. So we got there around 9:20. As I was walking, I thought, oh God, am I going to show up and there's going to be already people waiting in some line outside? No one was there. The sign on the actual mall said 10 a.m. So I was like, okay, that's weird. How are they open at 9:30 or 9:35 if the mall doesn't open till 10? And then I thought, well, maybe the main doors to the mall open at 10 and none of the other stores open, or the main doors open at 9:30 and none of the other stores open till 10. So we waited, 9:30 came, nothing happened. So we just decided to go walk around for a bit, and I'm getting all anxious because I'm like, oh God, are there people out there waiting while I'm walking around? We got back about 10 minutes before. There was no one outside. At 10 a.m., the doors opened. I went in, and they have kind of like a velvet rope, and you know, it's roped off, and you get there, and that's where you wait. I walked up. I was the first person, and it was maybe 20 seconds before the sales associate let me in, but by that time there were already about 7 or 8 people in line. And so I walked in. I said, and here's So a tip is going to this store and being there right as it's opening or maybe a little bit before. Um, so I went in and she said, "Oh, what? Are you looking for anything in particular?" And I said, "Yes, I'm looking for the Belvedere bag in orange." And this is another tip you got to realize. In a foreign country, there is going to be a language barrier. Even if they speak your language, there is still going to be a language barrier. So I said I wanted to see the Belvedere in orange, and she said, "I only have the MM size. I don't have the PM." Well, she got frustrated with me, and I was kind of freaking irritated with her a little bit too, because I said, "Okay, do you have it in another color?" And she cut me off and said, "I said I don't have any in the PM size." And I just wanted to see another color for size comparison. Then there were two in their display cabinets, and I pointed to one and I was like, "Can I see that?" And she said, "I said I have no PMs for sale." So she wasn't understanding that I wasn't asking to buy it. I just wanted to see it for size comparison. And I don't see why she couldn't have just opened the display cabinet and taken it out. But I said, whatever, I'll look at the MM if it's too big, because honestly, I thought it was probably going to be big enough to fit a 13-inch laptop. I don't know why. I wouldn't have wanted it in that case. So when she brought the PM out, I was actually really surprised at how small it was in person. And the MM, or the MM I'm talking about, how small it was in person compared to what I thought. In the PM, I could see it. I was about 1.5 feet away from it. Looked much smaller than I thought it was going to look in person. So when I was looking at this, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, that would probably fit my iPad. And this is a solution I've been looking for. And I don't know if I gave you all the dimensions, so let me give you those. It's 11 inches across, 8.5 in height, and 3 on the width here. So the PM is 8.5. It's 6 inches tall and 2.75 inches in depth. So this is about 2.5 inches longer, 1.5 inches taller, and just a little bit wider on the depth. So when I thought I could fit my laptop in it, I was like, sold, done. So glad I made this decision. So although I didn't get to hold the PM, I am really, really, really happy that I went with the MM size, and I'm really fortunate that they did have it in orange. So just be cognizant that there's going to be language barriers, and they're not going to understand. Like, I could have kept pushing it, and we both could have kept being annoyed by it. But I just looked at that and then I got it. And that's my other tip, is don't feel the pressure. So I had intended to look at the Belvedere. I also wanted to see the Artois and the Saint Louis. Those are two totes. The Artois has a zip, the Saint Louis does not. And I wanted to look at the Saigon bag just because it looks like a really cool bag. I had no intention to purchase those other bags, but I just wanted to look at them. And she asked me, do you want to see anything else? And I said no, and I wish I would have at least looked at the Artois and the Saint Louis, because in carrying this bag around all week, I loved it so much. I would have maybe bought a Saint Louis as well for the price savings of buying in France, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I felt pressure, not from her. I felt pressure from the line outside, because now it was like 15 people long. And I had said, I made a comment about the line, and she said, yes, usually as soon as the doors are opening, people are running from the entrances to the line. And I thought, oh my God, like they're actually running in. So I felt pressure from the line. So I said no. And she said, you only came here for the Belvedere? And I made a joke and I said, I only came to Paris for the Belvedere. She didn't get it. No surprise, she didn't get it. She looked at me confused, but I made the purchase. I mean, she was pleasant after that whole opening incident, but she wasn't really listening to me. I wish she would have listened to me. I just wanted to see the PM for size comparison, because if the MM was as big as I thought it was going to be, then I would have had to go to the other store and see if I could see the PM size. But fortunately, I decided to get the MM size. And this is another tip and another mistake I made due to the language barrier. So usually in my experience in buying in Europe, so let me just back up. So look at what you want to look at and forget the people outside. That's just what I'm going to say on that front. So I wish I would have looked at those two bags. But where I really got hit hard in the belt, money belt, due to the language barrier was concerning the value-added tax. So when you buy in the European Union, you don't have to pay tax or part of it. You get most of it back. So you pay tax, and then usually in a store, they will fill out a form for you, and then you submit it at the airport, and you get the tax refunded, usually on your credit card. Because Printemps, Printemps, is a luxury shopping center, that's not how it works. And so if it took them 5 to 10 minutes to fill out this form for every customer, well, the 7th person in line has to wait like an hour longer to get in. So she had told me that the tax form would be ready tomorrow, Wednesday, or the next day, Thursday. That's what she said. The tax form will be ready tomorrow or the next day. You just have to go downstairs, use the machine, and it'll print out the form that you take to the airport to get your taxes back. So I thought, great. So the next day came along and we were all really, really jet lagged, and my nephew and I went out early. We went out at like 5 a.m., came back at 9 a.m., and then we fell asleep until like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So I didn't get to it because we were like, oh my God, my mom can sleep for days. So she was asleep too. So we just got ready quick and went out to enjoy the rest of the day. So I didn't get to it Wednesday. Thursday, we were at Versailles most of the day. So I didn't get to it Thursday, and I didn't want to do it on the way out. I didn't want to bring my passport with me and then have it with me all day because I'd just be paranoid about something happening, like getting bag snatched or robbed or lost it. So I didn't want to do it on the way to anywhere. So Friday morning, first thing, we go there and we do it, and it's not working. And the agent said, it's too late. You have 3 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's Friday. You're out of luck. So I was really annoyed at that. It's my fault. I should have just done it right away. But that's just a tip. If you shop there, make sure you do that tax form there. The good news is on the way into the States, I didn't have to pay duty. So I did declare it. When I was getting my passport checked, the passport agent said twice, thank you so much for declaring. We really appreciate it. Then when the custom officer was looking at the receipt, he said, thank you so much for being honest and declaring it. And I said, do people really not declare? And he goes, oh my God, most people don't declare. So he didn't care. I bought another item, which I'll show you all in another video soon. That was like 120 euros. He didn't care about that. He cared about the Goyard, and it was 2,700 euros including tax, and 2,400 without tax. And he's like, I'm gonna give you a break. I'm gonna do the after tax price. And he's like, it's gonna be about $65. And he's like, I'll do the conversion and confirm that. And he's like, yep, it's about $65. And I'm like, great. And he started pulling out $65, and he said, oh, you know what? Forget it. I'm not gonna make you pay this. We really appreciate you being honest. So have a great day, which I was like, wow, thank you. I mean, $65 isn't bad, but it was just nice that he did that. I expected to pay it, be honest. It's ridiculous. I was chatting with this woman while we were waiting to board in Paris, and she told me, like, she was a lovely woman. She's like, my daughter flew me here, paid for my hotel, and she goes, my daughter bought me a Chanel bag, Chanel shoes, a Louis Vuitton bag, and a Burberry bag. Guess who went through nothing to declare? I saw a woman with an Hermes bag going through nothing to declare. And you know, because they put your passport, if you have to declare something, in this like plastic box with a motion sensor on it. So every time it moved, it went like made this whistling noise, and I'm guessing that's so if you walk through it with nothing to declare, it will alert somebody. It was a very irritating noise. But I was like, you really think anything at Hermes is less than the I'm sure there is stuff, but less than the $800 allowance. I watched this show called To Catch a Smuggler, which is all about, you know, border control, trying to catch people doing illicit things. And one of the episodes took place at JFK, and they target specific flights for specific reasons. And they were targeting a flight for Paris, and they were specifically looking for people who did not declare items. And the officer said, anytime we see one of those orange Louis Vuitton shopping bags come through, if you walk through to nothing to declare with that, you're getting pulled over. I mean, they're not stupid. They know these things are expensive. So be honest and declare. They can fine you and they can confiscate your item. And if they fine you, you're gonna pay a lot more. If they confiscate your item, you're really gonna pay a lot more. So that's just a tip there. Now that I'm done with my tips, just a little Paris musings around bags. The first thing I thought that was really cool was just walking around, seeing how some of the bags we love got their names. Like we saw the Alma Bridge, Louis Vuitton Alma. We saw the Pont Neuf Bridge. The Louis Vuitton had a Pont Neuf bag. We were right by, our avenue was right by Avenue des Capucines, the Louis Vuitton Capucines bag. We were right by the Place de Vendôme. Goyard has a Vendôme bag. So it was pretty cool when you were walking around just being like, and there were other examples I can't remember, but I'd be like, oh, that's why that bag's called that. So I thought that was pretty cool. The boutiques, don't go to the Louis Vuitton on the Champs-Elysees. Everyone goes to the Louis Vuitton on the Champs-Elysees, and there's always a massively long line outside it. Walk several blocks down and take a right on Avenue Montaigne and go to the Louis Vuitton there. Avenue Montaigne is amazing. Every single, I don't know if Hermes does, and Goyard certainly doesn't, but every other brand has a boutique on this beautiful tree-lined street. So you're walking by, it's like one after the other. And there wasn't a line. I went into that boutique, I think, twice. I went into Dior, I went into Gucci. There were never lines, although there was a little line at Gucci. The second to last day, I went back to Dior. Didn't buy anything, wanted to look at a couple bags, but decided no. But there was a little line outside of Gucci and Jacquemus, but there was no line outside Louis Vuitton. There's also a lot of these boutiques on Rue Saint-Honoré, where the Goyard is. No lines at the Louis Vuitton there. There are several Louis Vuittons in Paris. There's one in the Printemps, or however you say it. Don't go to the one on the Champs-Elysees. Like, yes, it's their main one, but why wait in line? They have the same stuff as every other boutique, and you can find online what's in stock where. So don't waste your time at that one. Go to a different one. Go to Avenue Montaigne. It's such a beautiful street, and if you don't see it, you're missing out. Lastly, just the bags I saw. Biggest brands I saw were, of course, Louis Vuitton. You saw that everywhere. So that was obviously a combination of locals and tourists. I saw a crap ton of Longchamp and also Pauline, which kind of surprised me. I don't know why, but I saw a ton of Pauline bags, which I'm assuming most of the Longchamp and Pauline were locals, maybe a mix of tourists with the Longchamp. Bags I saw, the bag that I saw the most of by far was the Longchamp Les Pliages everywhere. It was like, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. They were like freaking ants. They were everywhere. Also, I saw a crap ton of Marc Jacobs tote bag. That kind of surprised me, and in hindsight, I don't know why. Probably mostly tourists, but they were everywhere as well. Of course, I saw all the other brands, but just those were the things that I saw the most of. So, you know, if you're a bag person, you're probably like me and you just look at what everybody's carrying. Like every person that has a bag, I'm like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And I was like, stop looking at bags, look at Paris. No, I did enjoy Paris, but it's really hard not to look at what other people are carrying. So all in all, it was a great trip. I am so happy that I got to walk away with this. It's beautiful. I love a Goyard now. I'm gonna have to really shift and focus my attention on acquiring more Goyard. So thank you for watching. Until next time, comment below. I always love when you all comment. Bye-bye.